Welcome to the New Year event of 2025 in Pokemon Sleep, and welcome back to another Pokemon Sleep video. It's Bro Vinny here. Today we're covering all of the information relating to the 2025 New Year event. We'll be looking at boosted spawns, we'll be looking at the bonuses and rewards from this event, we're going to look at where to go for this event, and we're going to look at the bundles as well tied to this event. But first and foremost, I need your help with data collection and research once again. There will be a new feature during this event called the Dream Coins, which actually work quite similar to legendary mains we've had in the past, but we need to know how much community research gives us for Dream Coins, which may help us plan for future events. I'll leave a link to a Google form that will help us complete this research in the description and the comment section below, so make sure when the event starts you guys go to that link. I'll post it in my Discord as well to start inputting data. So let's get right into it. This will be a long video, so make sure you sit back and relax while I've got my work cut out for me. It will be a 2-week event that begins immediately after the Christmas/holiday event, making 3 consecutive weeks of events. The New Year event will happen in all research areas, so you can go to anyone you want, but the choice will depend on which Pokemon you might want to hunt for or which Pokemon you want candies for. For example, in week 1 of the event, Pokemon that were released between January and June of 2024 will have boosted rates to spawn, but only in the areas they naturally spawn in, unless it's Greengrass Isle, which are getting Dratini, Ralts and Stuffle added as well. But as usual, Greengrass Isle tends to be diluted quite a lot, so if you want to focus on a specific Pokemon hunt, go to any area besides Greengrass to specifically hunt what you need. Now, I don't personally need any of these Pokemon to hunt, but I don't mind their candies. So for me, I'm focused on getting candies of the stuff that I want. And the one that stands out the most is Lapis Lakeside, because it's got boosted Pokemon for lots of different species that I normally use. I do use Beware, I can use Dedenne, I do use Gardevoir, and I do use Dragonite. So because week 1 has bonus candies as well, and we'll come back to this in a moment when we cover the event bonuses, Lapis Lakeside just makes a lot of sense. Remember this, when the game says a slightly greater appearance rate, it applies that to each Pokemon that's listed. So if more Pokemon are listed, then it crowds out all the other stuff that aren't listed. The advantage of that is I'm going to get more candies of these species overall, compared to if I were to go to Snowdrop Tundra, and even if I were looking for candies for Cramorant, I'm not expected to see as many Cramorant as I am to see all of these combined. However, if you're hunting for a specific Pokemon, let's say you are hunting for a Cramorant or a Dedenne, and you're not as interested in the candies, then going to places with least boosted species like Snowdrop or Ogre Power Plant for the week 1 of the event makes a lot of sense as well. I think most species here are worth catching if you don't have one, with the exception of Comfey, because Comfey is more of an early Beware. If you don't have a Beware yet and you haven't unlocked Lakeside, you can go to Cyan Beach to catch a Comfey. Although, if you're just starting the game or you're new, Stuffle is for the event going to be available at Greengrass as well. And Stuffle is just a cheaper catch compared to Comfey. So I think besides Comfey, everything else here can be considered a worthy catch. Regarding Cramorant, my initial opinion of it is that it's a weaker version of Toxicroak for oil farming, but its skill is powerful. Unfortunately for Cramorant, if you're going to invest its skill, you might as well put those main seeds in Dedenne instead. So still, it doesn't make that much sense to use Cramorant for its skill. If you happen to have a good one already, then by all means, go hunt those Cramorant candies for this event. So I think it's pretty clear from this information that if you've got Lakeside unlocked, I'll see you over at Lakeside for the week 1 of the event. For week 2 of the event, the boosted species are the species that came later half in the year of 2024. And wow, I did not realize how many Pokemon they had released in the last half of the year. Once again, choose an area where you want to hunt the specific Pokemon. Now, we're not getting extra candies for week 2 of the event from Sleep Research, but we are getting more Dream Shards. So if you try to maximize your Drowsy power for both weeks, you'll get more candies for week 1 and you get more Dream Shards for week 2. It is a good idea to choose an area where you can normally have a powerful team in, so that you can get a higher drowsy power earlier on in order to get more returns of dream shards, but equally you want to be using the boosted spawns during this event to get what you need as well. So the choice is a consideration of all these factors. Once again, if you just want to hunt a specific Pokemon, for example, I'm currently missing a good Quaxly and a Sneasel, but since Sneasel is the only boosted Pokemon besides its evolution Weavile in Snowdrop Tundra, the spawns won't be competed for by other boosted spawns. So for me, it actually makes a lot of sense to go to Snowdrop Tundra. Although if you're free to play, Sneasel is quite expensive of a catch, and it's not totally necessary. I've just personally hit a point in the game where there's not much left for me to hunt, and the next goal for me is something like Sneasel. Other excellent boosted spawns, Skeledirge is great for an apple farmer if you don't have one, Quaxar is great for mushroom farming if you don't have one, Quacklevolt is currently the best leek farmer but only at level 60, so before level 60 you should be using a Doug trio. Definitely cannot ignore Old Gold Power Plant for the coffee farmers. We got Aron. If you can't get a mono Grubbin, Aron is a good option. Of course, we've got the Grubbin line as well. I'm not personally that keen on the Drifloon line. Shinx line, great for tomato farming, or alternatively for oil farming. The 3-power Daen starters are there as well, so lots of good options for Old Gold Power Plant, but more diluted because everything seems to be boosted. I think Old Gold Power Plant is an excellent choice if you're hunting for any of these Pokemon or a number of them altogether. But once again, personally, I'm just done with a lot of things even at Old Gold Power Plant. I've got the Vigavolt that I need. I don't need a Sprigatito. I've got my Victory Bell to do potatoes. I'm done with Skeledirge. I could use a better Quaxly, but then it's kind of crowded by all these other boosted spawns anyway. So for me, at this stage, I'm thinking of hitting up Snowdrop Tundra just specifically to hunt Sneasel. But my recommendation for someone like free-to-play Piggy is going to be Old Gold Power Plant. Interestingly enough, Greengrass Isle also has boosted spawns, but less than Old Gold Power Plant. However, the dilution from the unboosted spawns may cause these Pokemon to actually not appear as often. I don't actually know how it balances out between Greengrass and Power Plant regarding which one will show you more boosted spawns from these lists. You might just have to go with your gut feeling whether to go with Greengrass or Old Gold. The choice for Taupe Hollow is good if you don't have Quagsire and Skeledirge and you really need Mushroom and Apple farmers. Similarly for Lakeside, if you're desperate for Potato and Leek farmers, that's the place to go. So overall, I think there's a lot of choice for week 2, but because of the current coffee requirements for the strongest dishes, if you don't have a coffee farmer yet, go for a coffee farmer at Old Gold or Greengrass like Aron or Grubbin. Next, the bonuses and rewards from this event. During New Year's Day and the 2 days after that, we're going to get boosted drowsy power. I believe that's for both sessions of sleep research if you do 2 sessions a day. And those days are Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of the first event week. In the first event week, only the first session will get a multiplier on the candies earned. Skill triggers will be multiplied by 1.25 times during this first week, which means anything that usually has a high trigger rate will get even more boosted. So this is a time to use your skill Pokemon if you've got any good ones lying around. I personally like to invest main seeds in my berry Pokemon, besides energy for everyone healers, so I'll be reaping the benefits even on my berry Pokemon because this bonus applies to all Pokemon. And all skill levels will be boosted by 1 for every Pokemon. This is a good chance to test out things that you've always wondered whether they would be good if you invested a main seed. But otherwise, it's just a relative greater buff to skill specialists for this first week. In contrast, in the second week, the bonuses are relatively more buffed on ingredient specialists because dishes will be multiplied by 1.25 for the entire week. Although it's probably more accurate to say that this multiplier is a buff to ingredient focused teams because an ingredient focused team can also include Pokemon like Cooking Power Up S or Tasty Chance S as they make your dishes stronger. So this multiplier improves your entire team that focuses on dish making. Now, during the first and second week, there's one more reason why you might either just want to do 1 session or make your first session extra long. We will be given Dream Coins for doing sleep research. And it says that you cannot get any Dream Coins during the second sleep research of the day, meaning just like Legendary event, you might just want to do 1 session of sleep a day so that 100% of your sleep score will go to that 1 session to maximize your Dream Coins because there are some good items coming in the Dream Coin exchange shop. You want to be maximizing your drowsy power because the greater your drowsy power, just like for legendary events, the better your spawns, the more evolved they are, the higher the star level they are, you're going to get more dream coins from them. There are 3 other ways to get dream coins. The second way is by completing missions during this event. Both Rainanix and Cerebi have mined this data. You can see the missions and the rewards on either website, and there will be a total of 370 coins that you can earn just from completing all these missions, and the missions are fairly easy to complete. Just remember to stick to your bedtime and try to get to master 1 at the very least. Besides that, just make sure you use your incenses as well. You can only use a max of 2 incenses per session, so if you leave this mission until the very last day, you're just not going to be able to complete it, even if you do 2 sessions a day. So start the incense missions a bit earlier. And then it's the research community dream coins. Like our research community legendary mains, we are going to try and determine how much we can get from each closeness or each friendship level on average. And that's why I need you guys to submit data using the Google form that I've linked in the description and comment section below. Don't start filling it out just yet until the event actually begins. If you have any questions about how to fill out this form, make sure you come to our Discord channel and come ask us there. We have very friendly members in the Pokemon Sleep channels, and they'll lead you in the right directions. And just like for legendary mains, with higher closeness with your friends, we're expecting more dream coins from them. Now you'll notice that unlike legendary events, we can't buy dream coins. We could buy mains, but we can't buy dream coins. This last bit with the limited time special gift doesn't apply to most of us that are not underage. And children don't have friends, so if they don't have friends, the developers are compensating them with 70 dream coins as a gift instead for each week, so 140 in total. Now, as for what we can do with the dream coins, there are some nice items that we can exchange for, including biscuits and main skill seed. Thankfully, this information has also been data mined and on the Cerebi website, and I've summarized all of the items that you can get in the dream coin shop into this table. A few things to note: week 1 we'll be able to exchange for these items, and then in week 2 these 2 items will get added on top. So really this should say week 1 and 2 over here. As usual, please ignore these candies until the very end. This is how much it will cost for us to exchange each of the items, and this is how much we're allowed to exchange them. You will go absolutely broke with your dream coins if you try to exchange for the 999 Paldean candies, because inclusive of everything, there's a total of 16,000 dream coins that you'll need. If you ignore these 3 items altogether and only use any leftover coins to get them, by the end of the event, you would only need 1,400 dream coins to complete the entire shop, which is listed here. And besides, it's just super expensive to exchange for these Paldean candies. Handy candy is just overall cheaper to get than these candies. Alright, but what you're probably more interested in is what to actually use your dream coins on. You may remember a table like this for legendary mains, which I try to value how much things cost and whether you're spending your resources wisely. Now excuse me for all the color coding here, but let's start with what we already know. In red text is week 2 and blue text is week 1 of the exchange shop. This is what we already saw in the earlier table. It's just how many you can exchange and how much each things cost. Now this here is the value I've given to that item if we were to use sleep points. So for example, in the premium shop, it costs 100 sleep points to get a Poke Biscuit, 400 to get a Great Biscuit. Now this one's interesting. There is no premium or regular shop for Friend Incense. You have to get it from diamonds. So this one could be a bit overvalued, but I've put in 600 because I usually use a 4-to-1 conversion between diamond and sleep points, using Helper Whistle as my conversion rate, because Helper Whistle is available both in Diamond Shop for 200 diamonds and in regular Sleep Exchange for 800 sleep points, so then it's 4-to-1. If you use other items, the conversion's a little different. So once again, context is important. It's all in the eye of the beholder how much these things are valued, but the best value item based on this analysis using a 4-to-1 conversion, if you can't normally get a lot of Friend Incense, and given that Friend Incense can boost the power of your Great Biscuit or your Poke Biscuit, it can be quite a powerful tool. Having said that, sometimes Friend Incense lands on the wrong Pokemon, so then it's almost absolutely worthless. So context matters, but I've used 600 as the sleep point in the exchange because it normally costs 150 diamonds in the diamond shop, so times 4 is 600, and so on and so forth for every other item as well. I won't go through everything. If you have any questions about how I valued these, let me know in the comment section below. And then what I've done is I've divided the premium exchange cost to how much it will cost in the dream coins, and this is their ratio. The higher this number, the more value we're getting per dream coin spent. Again, the catch is that we assume that these sleep point values are what you would normally value them as well. For some people, ingredient tickets are absolutely worthless, in which case you will put 0 as your exchange value in premium shop because you're just not going to exchange for it unless it's free. Then the ratio is 0, it's not worth anything at all. Now the higher the ratio, the better the value you're exchanging for. For Poke Biscuit, we use 20 dream coins to exchange for something that's normally 100 sleep points, so then the ratio is 5 times. For Great Biscuits, it costs us 3 times as much, when normally in premium exchange it costs us 4 times as much. So there's better value in Great Biscuit, and the relative value is highlighted in the background color. So in yellow we have sort of the mid-range values. In red we have the low value items such as Poke Biscuit and Sprigatito candies. And in green, we have the high value items, but again, it just depends on how you value this. If you don't like using Friend Incense because there's too much RNG involved, this is worth nothing to you. And if Dream Cluster is worth nothing to you, again, this is worth nothing to you. It doesn't matter what the ratio is. In contrast, Poke Biscuit, I think is a fairly heavily used resource because, well, that's what we need to catch Pokemon with. So I think despite it being a lower value item, it is still one of the priority items to exchange. If you're free to play, Great Biscuit is the one to stock up on during this event because you can't normally get access to Great Biscuits. So definitely spend some Dream Coins on these Great Biscuits. Main Skill Seed is surprisingly good value in this event. In previous events, it's been a low value item, so it costs more than you would expect in Legendary Mains to get a Skill Seed. But in this event, it's actually fairly good value to exchange for it, considering the usual cost of a main skill seed. In fact, it's even better value than exchanging for Poke Biscuits. So in terms of my personal analysis, I would suggest that everyone saves enough Dream Coins for any item in one priority. So main skill seed, Handy Candy, Friend Incense, Great Biscuit, Poke Biscuit, and definitely for the second week as well, because in the second week we have Handy Candy and Poke Biscuits just cheaper. The only catch is we gotta wait until the second week to exchange for them. So the clear point here is do not exchange for any of these Paldean candies. Not only are they bad value relative to other items, even if you need these candies, if you start with exchanging for these first, you might come out short by the end of the event for something else like a main skill seed. Try to get the big items sorted before you start buying these small cost items. I'm hoping to touch up on this table to make it look a bit nicer, and I'll post it to my Discord. So come over to my Discord to get a copy of this. The next thing is the candy cram-o-matic making a return in this game, which is again exchanging dream shards for candies. Kind of like Candy Boost, but with extra steps. But the steps convert things a little differently. The idea is you change your currently useless candies to hopefully some more useful candies. Each time you use this feature, you'll be converting 40 of your candies, could be Why Not candies or Bonsly candies, something you don't normally use, and then spending some dream shards with it, each time getting you a M-size candy. But on occasion, you'll get 2 of these. It's called a great success or a crit. We've done research on this and we know the crit rate is 16%. There's also something else that happens with the candy cram-o-matic. It's more likely to give you the same type candy that you fed it. So if you feed it Why Not candies, you'll get more likely a psychic type M candy. And the chance of getting the same type candy is 36%, unless they decide to change these rates. And we're not going to do the research every time this feature comes back. So for now, we're going to assume these rates are correct. And usually the developers do tell us when something changes anyway. The last time we used the candy cram-o-matic, the most exchanged candies were Wobbuffet candies followed by Sudowoodo, and then Meowth, Jigglypuff, Lucario, Rattata candies, and Gulpin, Psyduck, Growlithe, and Togepi. Most people had used the conversion of the candy cram-o-matic 3 times as per our recommendation in the last event that had this. 42% of people, or rather 42% of days, the cram-o-matic were used 3 times. It is highly recommended that you at least use it 2 times, because it's really good value to exchange for candies. But unfortunately, as we get to 4 times, it becomes way too expensive for most people. 4 conversions is really only designed for whales. So what I'm talking about is that this feature can be used up to 4 times per day, but each time you use it, it costs more. In fact, a lot more. The optimal Pokemon level to use the Candy Cram-o-matic as opposed to Candy Boost feature, because they both charge you Dream Shards just in different rates, are at level 2, 11, 30, and 47. What that means is, if the average Pokemon level you have are level 30, it's better to be using the Candy Cram-o-matic 3 times than it is to use the Candy Boost. The reason for this is Candy Boost costs you more Dream Shards as your Pokemon levels up, whereas Candy Cram-o-matic is 4 discrete levels of Dream Shard cost to get each additional candy. So if the average Pokemon level that you have is level 50 or above, and you only plan to use the candies for level 50 onwards, then Candy Cram-o-matic is cheaper than Candy Boost to be used 4 times, because the cutoff here is level 47. But that doesn't mean that either option is good to use at all, because they both charge you whale amounts of Dream Shards. So for the average player, stick to anywhere between 2 to 3 times of use of the Candy Cram-o-matic every day. It's just a question of whether you have enough Dream Shards to exchange for the candies. There will be a second form for us to input data on the Candy Cram-o-matic as well, but for this one, it's only for verification purposes. We don't intend to do another rate analysis. We just want to make sure approximately the numbers didn't change that much. So you'll find another Google form in the comments and description below. Don't use that second form until the second week of the event. And finally, we're going to cover the event bundles for the New Year event. There are 2 sets of bundles coming. New Year Event Bundle Volume 1 and New Year Event Volume Bundle 2. You can find the value analysis under Sleep Info in my Discord. For New Year Bundle Week 1, we are seeing the most value of the Bundle L, 45% discount if we take the entire value of diamond costs to get all of the items. The catch is you need 5,000 diamonds, which I don't know any free-to-play players have saved that much diamonds for this event. The good thing is it comes with both skill seeds, which are again the most limited items in this game. Having said that, main skill seed is coming in the new year as well in the regular exchange shop. According to the data mine, it's going to cost 3,600 sleep points, which is double what it costs in premium shops. We'll see when it actually comes out, but if you don't want to spend 3,600 sleep points, then you may consider getting the Bundle L or at least the Bundle M. For 2,000 diamonds, you still get a main skill seed and a reasonable discount at that, at 33%. As usual, I don't value the incenses in any way besides the candies that they farm. But if you find something useful in here, for example, if you're missing Dratini, Ralts, and Stuffle, all 3 Pokemon, then naturally Bundle M will be higher value for you. Bundle S is looking good too at 38% discount. For only 600 diamonds, we get 12 Poke Biscuits, which would normally cost us 720. In addition, we'll be getting 7 Handy Candy S, which is valued at about 130 diamonds, and some Dream Clusters as well. As for week 2, the discounts seem to go down significantly. So for week 2, I would only recommend you guys buying any of the bundles if there's an incense that you like. It looks like week 2 is much more focused on the value of incenses than they are of other items. So once again, if you're after a Mono Grubbin that you haven't caught yet, or an Aron, or a Mono Shinx, or a Sneasel, or Bundle L is actually not bad at all, because you additionally get 10 Great Biscuits with it, which is normally valued at 2,000 diamonds. You're only spending 1,500. Bundle M of week 2 is the worst of all values. In fact, you're paying 600 diamonds for 3 Great Biscuits, which is normally valued at 600 diamonds. So the only thing you're getting in addition to that are the Paldean starters, which I've got to say aren't extremely rare Pokemon anyway. Did I cover everything, guys? You guys let me know in the comments section below. I don't think I missed anything. Don't forget to input data for our research, for the community research on Dream Coins. And don't forget, you get the most value out of watching my videos. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.